Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play the Thaumaturge Blind. I'm your host, Lisanne Faye, and, well, let's read some plaques. Josefina Jolska ne Hohenlohe. Okay. And you. Nikodem Jolski. Weather's taken a bit of a turn. It's also now nighttime. Glad I did my exploring before the funeral. Okay.
We can go. The hardest thing was getting the lid of the urn. The scattering I could handle.
You can play the clown, but I know how much this has cost you. I'm glad you went.
Love at a funeral. Eros post-mortem. Is it suitable for a young lady in mourning to fraternize with bachelors?
That's my sister.
Konstancja Szabłowska, the Warsaw Courier. Could I ask for a brief comment?
Hyena.
Thank you. And you, sir?
We're twins, my dear lady.
The Shulskis reunited. You don't look like a horrid cripple. Why did you leave Warsaw so quickly?
Don't tell her anything. She'll write whatever she wants anyway. And we'd better get going.
Alright, yeah.
I can sort it out, but it might cause you some trouble.
It's not worth getting your hands dirty over.
Alright.
Get out of here, or I might decide you're attacking an Imperial official, and you'll wake up tomorrow in the Citadel.
Are you threatening me, Judge?
I'm actually sparing you from him. Would you rather try your luck with a Thaumaturge? Come on,
She did already
children.
witness us, like,
I'm sure my
In a
Pietia
fight
is already
earlier.
waiting for us at home.
I'd love to see my cousin.
Are you coming with us?
yeah.
Thanks.
Get in. I'm sure the lawyer is already waiting for us.
Oh, good. Hurry up, we'll get soaked. What in a little drizzle like this? Alright. Guess we go. Where? This is a different map. Okay.
Miss, your guests have arrived. The lawyer's upstairs too, waiting. A trifle jittery. Wonder if the tea I made him was too strong.
Thank you, Grażyna, dear. Let the guests wait. First, I want to take care of the will.
I'll just wet my whistle and join you all upstairs.
Make sure Uncle makes it upstairs sober. And I'll suggest you don't dawdle either.
Master Wiktor, good God! Half your face covered, but I could tell right away it was you. You look just like your father in his youth. Completely his spitting image.
Yes, I'm sure
Should
that's
I make you
just what
some
he wants to
cocoa,
hear.
Master? It would warm you up a little.
You know what?
Make an extra creamy one for Ligia.
Oh, I won't skimp on her. Now, your sister's putting a brave face on all this, but she's really having a hard time. It's lovely to see you again. But
Okay,
that's enough
I'm getting a
jabber
little
for
whiplash
now.
from you.
I've got the guests and the cocoa, and I've got to whip up some food for you all later. We'll talk soon.
Alright. Anyone? The Warsaw Courier Evening Extra. Here's the latest news on the riots that disrupted His Majesty Emperor Nikolai II's speech today, a moment after our gracious Emperor announced Grigory Skalan as the new Governor General of Warsaw. A group of troublemakers started yelling most disgraceful slogans. Despite reinforced security, there was a scuffle. The gendarmerie were quick to get the situation under control, however. A few people were injured, including 2 policemen who came to help. 30 people charged with public nuisance and brawling were taken into custody. Okay. That's going down to the basement. Bust of Morana. The stern countenance resembles that of a human, but the callous gaze shows no trace of human emotions. The Queen of Winter scrutinizes you, sending a shiver down your spine. It makes me think of the words, if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you. Um... 365 dinner recipes for 5 zlotys by Usina C. Capon or pullet with sausages. Clean and pluck the capon while warm. I'll let y'all read that recipe at a later time. Gazinia's liqueur recipe, quince liqueur with amber. Pour a pot of ripe, duly picked quince fruits into 4-gallon demijohn and pour into a light cooled syrup with all of this. Lovely. Alright, Voronin.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. I thought I'd have to drink alone.
Maybe you don't drink yet.
So many goodies laid out for the guests. Having trouble picking something for yourself, Judge?
But this was Stashio's. It was special. Amber liqueur with quinces.
Quinces.
I think you mean quince liqueur with amber, right? If it's not here, I'm sure it's in the basement. But I won't grope around down there in the dark now. I've got my hands full.
Ah, I see. So I'm gonna have to go down there.
No,
first.
I don't want to trouble you either. Wiktor, could you track down a little bottle for your uncle?
Yes, but
I suppose I'm obligated to accept this mission.
Good lad. A nephew like you is a treasure.
Alright. Who are you?
I don't want to put my foot in my
cousin.
mouth again. I already failed to recognize someone once today. But you look familiar.
Well, I should think so. I was the victim of one of your starling hunts. Voronins must not be very memorable, cousin.
Pietya! Forgive me, and for shooting you as well. How are you doing?
Just some heart problems, not a subject for today. I'm sorry about Uncle Stanislav. Forgive me for not coming to the funeral. I can't bear cemeteries.
We'll have to meet up again.
Indeed.
Goodbye.
Alright. Cool. Alright, let's go down to the basement. Mother's portrait, a portrait of mother from her youth. She stands proud, wearing a white dress and a silk scarf thrown over her exposed shoulder. Her long dark hair flows down her back, and she glances at the viewer with a piercing smile. Bare skin and a frivolous hairstyle. That's not how I remembered her. Nadia as a young, unkempt maiden. It's hard to believe. The shocking vision of the painter must have been created in a previous era, a time when hearts were stirred with violent emotions, poems were created at the sound of the storm, Love stories had to end tragically, etc., etc. Father actually commissioned such a painting? Ah. The liqueur. The bottle exudes the sweet aroma of quince. The sincere joy of an upcoming meeting. I think that's supposed to be and. It is a beverage that brings people together and sweetens the bitterness of everyday life, an element of ritual that two old friends would eagerly indulge in. Sauvignon Bordeaux, or de Bordeaux. The wine carries the aroma of peaches, apples, and a certain amount of conviction that a relationship between two people is beginning to take on a romantic edge, a beverage enjoyed by the upper crust given to a man by a woman. Lots of interesting drinks. Pinot Noir from Oregon. A bottle of red wine from the U.S., hard to get. An inability to articulate brought on by great surprise clings to the bottle. It was difficult to mouth even a word of gratitude for the unique gift. Words got stuck in the throat despite the adoration of this particular liqueur. It is a favorite beverage, but an unwelcome gift. Voronyan's bottle. Every bottle found in the Solski's cellar contains a creditable beverage. Uncle Voronyan wouldn't disregard any of them. Did I actually pick up a bottle? Hopefully I did. Uncle?
How did it go? Mission accomplished?
Excuse me. Alright. You want the liqueur?
I think this is the one Uncle wanted.
Yes. This is our little funeral bottle. We would meet in Stasha's study after every funeral we went to and raise a toast to the dead. And recently, we've been seeing one another more and more at such events. More and more. But this time, even he has left me. So, to an easy death, as Stasha and I used to say.
How did he die?
Hasn't Lygia told you?
No.
I haven't even had the chance to ask.
He didn't suffer, but such images in the memory are better saved for later. I'd prefer to remember him as he was alive. What then? Am I drinking alone?
Yeah, he'll keep quiet.
Familiar faces keep vanishing from my life. Stasio and my Helena before him. I miss my little darling. I miss them both. Well, obligation fulfilled. Shall we get to the reading of the will?
Yep. Let me
At
ask.
the funeral, there was this sad Jewish fellow, Mordechai Hayat. Do you know him, Uncle?
He worked for Stanisław, but that was a long time ago. I don't know him more than that. So, shall we collect our inheritance?
Yep, let's go.
Yes, let's find out what my father hasn't left me.
Let's begin if everyone is ready. Would you all please take a seat? Ladies and gentlemen, by the power of my office vested in me by the grace of His Imperial Majesty, the Emperor of all Russia, I hereby testify. Mr. Szulski's last will and testament were prepared several years ago in the presence of Zaclav Fedorov, Esquire, that is, myself. My last will and testament recorded in the year of our Lord 1888. In the name of the Holy Trinity. Amen.
Okay. Maybe he'll tolerate this for his sister.
Therefore, my first irrevocable wish is to appoint as executrix of this will my daughter, Ligia Szulska. Immediately after my death, an inventory shall be conducted in full accordance with the law. After completing the inventory, all my personal movables will be sold at public auction. And let the funds raised thereby be donated on the anniversary of my death to the beggars near that cemetery. The administration of the remainder of my fortune I leave, without restriction, to the person of my daughter Ligia.
I'm not even getting a teaspoon.
All movables and immovables relating to the family enterprise I entrust to the care and administration of my daughter. I do not prescribe a method of administering them. I merely offer her one piece of advice. I wish that the business should be conducted with modesty, prudence, and honesty, as I have conducted it my whole life.
A joker to the very end.
To my brother-in-law and oldest friend, Alexander Voronin, I wish to leave the following: my collection of muskets and 2 revolvers dating to the uprising in memory of our first meeting.
Stasio, I will have plenty to do in my retirement.
Enjoy your retirement.
No, I think he's kind of just enjoying making, like, snide comments here and there. Like, part of me wants to put in one, but, like, think I'm just gonna go with the weight.
I would also like to come to the aid of my only son, Wiktor Szulski, by entrusting him with the use of my personal black grimoire,
Really?
in the hope that he will be able to make good use of it. This is my last will and testament. Carry it out solemnly, though you may have found it burdensome. However, this last bequest poses a certain problem.
Yes, it certainly does. And what is that, may I ask?
I am not in possession of this grimoire. The late Mr. Szulski used it up until his death, yet no one left it with me after his passing.
So we don't know where it
Meaning
is.
it's disappeared?
Alright.
Did father have his grimoire on him at the time of his death?
It was only because of the grimoire that we could identify him at all.
What actually happened? How did he die?
A building collapsed on top of him. I don't know any other way of putting it.
A building? It collapsed on top of him? How? How did this happen?
It was a day like any other. Papa had gone for his habitual walk. Every Tuesday and Thursday, he'd take a stroll to get some space, as he put it. When he didn't come back for a long time, I got the bad feeling something had happened. Then,
We rode there together. An entire wall of a tenement had collapsed. There were 3 victims, including Stasio, who had the bad luck to simply be walking by. To see him there in that condition, it's beyond description.
Okay.
The grimoire. Could someone have taken it?
Perhaps, in all that confusion.
But why would anyone want Papa's grimoire? An ordinary person won't use it. Would the Thaumaturge just happen to be passing by?
Father had all his knowledge in there, but I don't know if it would be useful to someone other than him. I don't even know why he left it to me.
I'm sure Stasio had a reason.
Maybe. Where?
Where did it happen? Where was this building?
The southern part of Śródmieście, not far from the police station. Anyway, you can miss it.
Of all the possibilities, this was the death that fate prepared for him.
I think now that he's among family,
He died as he lived, miserably. He couldn't have met a more fitting end after what he did to me. What he did to the Niedzic's family.
You've got to know that Papa felt guilty, even if he didn't say so outright. I'm not going to defend him, but I can't criticize him either. Even I don't know what really happened back then with Abauritze.
An accident is what happened, and Father treated two kids like the worst disgraces in the world. As if it had been premeditated.
When a person dies so suddenly, their unfinished business remains. We'll never learn what Stasio carried in his heart.
What do you intend to do?
who knows? Let's ask about people. Let's Kornikin?
Father evidently knew a certain
Konieczkin?
Ivan Konieczkin. Have you heard anything about him?
Konieczkin? No, doesn't ring a bell.
All sorts of people came to Papa's store. That doesn't mean every one of them might know something about the grimoire.
That's true. You've got your work cut out for you.
Okay.
And Mordechai Chayat. Could that be a lead?
I don't think so. He worked with Father, but he left more than a year ago. I don't know why. He was an assistant at my store.
Do you know where I might find him?
Sadly, no.
Do you have any other ideas?
I think we have to look for the answer in the place where it happened.
With your sight, you can make out more in those ruins than I, or Uncle, or Detective could. This is a good lead, but is it the only one?
I mean, we could also go through
And
Father's
where are
things.
Father's things at the moment?
You're standing at the very center of his kingdom. Not everything has been sorted through yet, but you go right ahead.
And the store? I should check that too.
I've started stock taking there to distract myself, and I don't want you to go in there before I've finished.
So take care of all my other things
As you
first.
wish.
Alright.
Now at least I can see how little I know. Maybe these scraps of information will lead me somewhere.
Well, now that we know what's got to be figured out, forgive me, my darlings. I'm going to give my old bones a rest.
I'll see you out.
Alright.
Goodbye, Uncle. And, Ligia. I'm sorry it happened this way. That I wasn't close by.
The most important thing is you're here now.
Okay. So something happened. Oh. Upier wants to talk? Really, Gotta walk up there. The Schlitzky family portrait. Our family portrait, I can remember when it was taken. The year was 1884, and Lygia and I were 9 years old at the time. She was clearly tense, and I remembered how Mother admonished her not to smile, not to fidget, and to stand straight. Lygia was to take the cue from her. Mother was able to freeze like a statue and sit there, barely breathing, for a couple of hours. I, on the other hand, posing nonchalantly, was always more unrestrained than my sister. I could get away with more. Behind us, our father, the head of the family, one hand resting patronizingly on the back of the Shah's lounge, asserting his ownership, the other holding a grimoire, the black grimoire. Behind father, a shadow, as if a shape was emerging and forming, indicating another presence. That was Balbereth. The family is complete. Stanislaus' last will. Think we already read, or, well, we heard it read. But interesting that, you know, we can find it again. Upia.
How do you find your old stomping ground? Yes, I'm not too fond of this place either. This is where I had my last conversation with my father, just before I left. If you can call it a conversation. Can you see my dreams? Nightmares, actually. Ever since I decided to come back, I keep reliving the same memory. The loan shark incident. I've been seeing his death more and more lately. I wonder if his shop is still there. Perhaps we should go there and check.
Okay, so that's something to do. Letter. The human heart is worth more than all the riches of the material world. Tonight, SR. The message appears to be brief. In fact, the pen strokes were accompanied by an accelerated heartbeat, motivated by restrained fondness for the addressee. The ink is dripping with special care and warmth that may have seeped deep into the paper. Trace, mysterious woman. Oh, is that who? The wine. That's story. Text, locations, factions, conclusions. What's this one? Yeah, so they're the same portion, or person. Okay, books on ancient cultures. Father would pore over the yellowed pages, again and again, reading the same words over and over, trying to extract meaning from them. He repeated the words about dedication and the necessity of sacrifice like a mantra, slamming shut one volume and reaching for another. What does it all mean? Stanislav. Suitcase, bearing traces of many travels. Grains of the desert sands from father's trip to Africa had settled on the suitcase. He would set it aside, spinning plans for future voyages into the unknown regions of the material world, searching for what was hidden behind the veil of reality. Okay. Oh, and there's something in the bathroom. Collection of books on the occult. Titles include Pseudo-Monarchia, Daemonum, Leviathan, Picatrix. The grimoires of historical occultists brim with paternal inquisitiveness. The worn pages, full of annotations in the margins, bear the marks of frequent reading. His heart beating with excitement, Father explored the mysteries of demonology, thus expanding his horizons. Alright. Oh, wow. There's a lot. There's a lot to read. We'll read what's here. The Pseudo-Monacharium Demonum. Compared to Crowley's Ars Goetia, there are 3 fewer demons, no evidence that all demons are Salvatores, Batham a false lead, Pusel a false lead, and Tongue claims to have subjugated Orobas, mere boasting. Marcosius expects it to take on the form of a wolf with the wings of a griffin and the tail of a snake. According to De Plancy, he takes the form of a wild lioness. Interesting observation by Crowley, demons are unexplored fragments of our mind. However, in appearance, it resembles an ox with wings. A lead for Sabnock, unknown. Chopin, Nocturne in B flat minor, Opus 9, number 1. My letter from Paris, sister of mine. I feel well enough to write to you. Okay. The Polish Gazette, obituaries, the late Antoni, Barbara, and Stanislaw Surski. My letter from Rome. Sleep eludes me. Yep. Okay. Message from Mother. Dear child, stop. It is with great sorrow that I have received the news of Stanislav's death. Stop. Unfortunately, I will not be able to attend the funeral ceremony. Stop. My duties in Paris keep me from traveling to Warsaw at this time. Stop. I join you both in the morning in sorrow. Stop. Mama. Charred letter. My love for you is burning. It keeps me from eating. It keeps me from sleeping. It keeps me from living. Lygia, I am begging you to end my agony. Agree to be my... So, she has a suitor. Bust of Siren. Sharp avian features bear a wild, disturbing kind of beauty. They make you want to fall into her clutches, be lulled into an eternal dream by her sweet song, yet her cryptic light smile makes a subconscious primal part of your being cower away from the predator. But isn't a soul the only fair price for the bliss of giving yourself up to that enchanting creature? Okay. Serious photo. Straight back, stern expressions, nose in the air. 2 boys that are trying to meet everyone's expectations. Something went wrong here. And, I have a wardrobe. If you want to change your clothes, you can use the wardrobe. You can expand your clothes collection by visiting the tailor. Yes. I guess this is for other stuff I ordered. I'll stick to the regular coat or the usual outfit for now. Okay, close. Alright, and I think that's it for upstairs. Um. There is one more thing. A ritual mask. The demonic countenance is clothed in the hope that clung to it first, the satisfaction that soon followed. It seems that Father has plans for Chiral, which he eventually managed to fulfill. Father's thoughts were recently occupied with a search for knowledge that bordered on obsessive. This is related to something much more than his usual curiosity about the world, which I remember him for. He was looking for something, hunting for salutors, exploring the mysteries of everything related to Thaumaturge. The only thing I still don't know is where it led him. Okay, now I'm actually done upstairs. And we now need to go downstairs. But that will happen next time. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode. And in the meantime, in between time, take care, have fun, and happy trails.